Hi friends, this is Callie. Thanks so much for being here with me today. We are creating a Cosmos Flowers card and I'm doing a combination of stenciling and die cutting. I love when there are coordinating products. So we're going to first begin here with the Cosmos Flowers stencil. This is a 6x6 stencil, and so we're going to choose the area that we want, and I'm just going to go ahead and spray my stencil with some pixie spray. When it's more intricate like this, I like to use pixie spray to help me hold down those intricate stencil areas so that I can get full coverage without it bleeding into other areas, and we still get that crisp white outline on our stenciled image. Okay, so I have it on my magnetic glass mat here, so I'm just going to use 2 strong bar magnets to hold down my stencil as I ink blend. And I have this image here on my phone that I'm going to use for inspiration. There's just a very intense color at the center of these flowers, and I'm going to try to imitate that. So we're using some positively saturated inks here. I've got lemonade, and I'm going to color first the inside of all of those Cosmos flowers on the stencils. On video here, I will only show this one main flower, and off camera, I will do the rest of the flowers just to save some time, and you don't need to see the same process over and over, right? All right, so I got them all stenciled there with that lemonade ink, and now we're gonna start working on the petals for the flowers. So I pulled in the die because I wanted to die cut this center circle here because it's gonna perfectly mask that center portion that we've already ink blended. But I will have to say, because the stencil has ink on it and has a slick surface, that mask doesn't hold down very well. So I'll be holding it down with my finger. Okay, so next we're going to be using the trio of purples here. I'm starting with the lightest color in bubblegum, and I'm just going to do a light blend over all of the petals. You see there, the little mask is sliding back and forth, and it didn't serve its purpose like I thought it would, but it still works out. So all that to say, you can just use a piece of circle paper and not waste masking paper if you don't want to. So I am going to ink blend again, a light blend of the lightest shade of purple, and now I'm using Sweets. This is the medium shade, and I'm just going to blend out past the middle point on all of these petals here, and that'll just give it a second base layer for the darkest shade and more intense color that we're going to blend at the base of these petals. Moving on now to the final and darkest, most intense color of the trio is Taffy. I'm going to blend and concentrate that color at the base of the petals, and every so often I do flick out a little bit to try to blend the 3 layers of different colors together. Once I am happy with the intensity of that ink, I'll go ahead and lift off that mask so you can see it, and then we can start ink blending the rest of the flowers, and I'll speed up that process just so you can see a tidbit of it. Typically, I would use one color at a time and just finish my stencil as I go, but again, I wanted to focus on that one main flower for you so you could see the full process. All right, so I am done with all of the Cosmos flowers, and I didn't want to leave that white space there. So I am going in with some Fairway green ink, and I am just going to ink blend with a larger brush this time. I feel like I can cover a bigger surface with it with a softer blend. So I'll just ink blend all of the little white spaces that I can see here with a soft layer of that Fairway green ink. When I'm done, I can go ahead and lift my stencil off, and you can see that that pixie spray really did its job. We have crisp white outlines of the image and that stark, bright, intense color of that taffy ink. I love that color so much, and to give my card a little bit more interest, I want to splatter my card with it. So I'm just smushing some of that ink onto my glass mat, and then I'm going to add a little bit of water, and I'm going to use a brush and just tap some of those splatters onto my card. It's going to give it a bit more texture and then make the colors of the card a little bit more cohesive with that texture. I'm just picking up some pigment there with my brush, and then using my finger, I'm just going to tap that brush a little bit to get those splatters onto my card. I should also mention that I did trim down my panel before I started splattering. I cut about a 1/4 inch off all the sides to clean it up after the ink blending. And now we can work on the die cutting portion of our card. This is the Cosmo Flowers Petals die. I'm just going to be using the outline of the dies because I really want that color that I ink blended with the stencils to show through. I've got a piece of white cardstock here that I'm going to ink blend with the same 3 positively saturated inks that I used on those Cosmos Flowers background. And so I've done the light wash, then the medium, and now I'm intensifying it with the dark. And when I have this panel done, I'm just going to cut it in half to make it easier and then die cut my petals. There are 8 petals in total. I only blended enough to get 6, so I did blend for 2 more off camera to cover this entire Cosmo flower here that we want to highlight on our card. I'm just loosely laying these petals down over the outline of the stenciled background. I'm just getting the placement right for those petals, and then I'll work on the flower centers. I ink blended a piece of Nina Desert Storm cardstock with some cappuccino ink, and then I have a piece of lemon chiffon for the top yellow portion of this center. And on the back, I'm putting some double-sided adhesive, very strong on the back, and it'll just pick up all of those petals. And then I'm going to attach this with some foam adhesive. And I'll curl up some of those petals too to give them a bit more dimension and interest. And after doing that, we can work on a sentiment. These are the reverse The Best Friend set, and they're just pre-printed sentiments, and it makes my life a lot easier. I've prepared one of the sentiments by trimming it down and adding foam adhesive to the back. Using my T-ruler, I'm just going to make sure that it's aligned perfectly. Then I can attach this entire panel to my card base. I just wanted to finish this card up here with a few iridescent sequins. So I've got the Soapy Bubbles sequins mix from Trinity Stamps that I'm just going to attach to my card in a few areas, and then my card is done. I love being able to combine coordinating products for cards like this, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in any of these products, they'll all be linked below for your convenience, and they'll also be linked on the coordinating blog post. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I have 2 more videos linked here for you if you're interested in seeing more. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Bye, everyone.